Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this video. So I'm back at it drawing another Harry Potter character, and if you watched my last video, you might recall that I had mentioned the fact that Ron was my initial favorite character when I first watched the series, but Fred and George quickly became my first favorite, leaving Ron in second place. This information would probably lead you to believe that I would then be drawing Ron next since he is my second favorite character after all, but as you can see, that's not what's happening. Sorry, I'll draw Ron next, I promise. I'm not making any promises, by the way. We'll see. But yes, as you can see, I am not drawing Ron, I am drawing Draco Malfoy. And after such an intro, you might be thinking that there's probably some extravagant reason of why I chose to draw Draco instead of Ron. Like, did I change my mind about Ron being my second favorite character or something? But the simple answer is, I just felt like drawing Draco. And if you are at all curious, Draco's probably in my top 5 favorite characters. I'm not exactly sure where, possibly third. You know, after the twins and Ron. And you know, I was actually hoping to like Draco a lot more, like he would be one of those cool antagonists that you just want to root for. But the thing about Draco is that you don't want to root for him because you feel bad for him. Because he's not even evil. He's a jerk, yes, but the things he does is to earn the approval of the people around him, particularly that of his father. And some things he was even forced into, like I don't think he just signed up to be a Death Eater. He's just a troubled soul trying to find his place in the world, which is why it's really sad that we don't get to see more character development for him, because I feel like they could have gone way deeper into who he is as a person, and I know that in movies they have to save time, but come on, this is like your main antagonist that's not obviously the main villain, the big baddie. I'm sure they could have spared a little bit of time for his character development. And I mean, have you seen movies like The Lord of the Rings? Those are really long and have extended versions. I think the movies would have been fine if they were a little bit longer. Especially if it meant we got to see more things like more character development. Not just for Draco, but for other characters like Neville. We totally got gypped. And it's a crime. I mean, the least we could have gotten was a redemption moment for Draco, and I mean, it wouldn't even really be a redemption moment, it'd kind of be more of like a breaking free kind of moment. Basically him doing what he thinks is right, or what he wants to do, rather than what his parents tell him to do kind of thing. Or, you know, they could have just gone the route of making him a legitimate antagonist. Someone who might be evil and a horrible person, but you still can't help but root for them. You know, like Bill Cipher. You don't actually want him to take over the world, but every time you watch Gravity Falls, you totally root for him, don't even lie to yourself. I'm just saying, I don't really like the way they did Draco's character. It's almost like the writers hated him or something. But I still like him. And I feel like the actor did a really good job. And speaking of the actor, I once again tried to make my drawing look like the actor or the character from the movie. Basically, I wasn't going for what I would imagine the character to look like, I was going for how close can I make the character look like the original actor from the movie, but in my style, if that makes any sense. So features like the eyes, nose, face shape, that sort of thing, I tried to make look like Draco from the movies. One thing to note is that if I was just drawing Draco like from the books or from the description of a character, I'd probably be more likely to give him more angular eyes, but the actor who plays Draco actually has very round eyes, which I think is interesting because you'd naturally assume a character that's supposed to be evil would have more angular features, as sharper, more angular features are generally used to portray villains, because sharper shapes are generally known as being dangerous, like in nature or knives. And I particularly like this because it gives his character a bit of innocence in a way that's not really obvious. I don't know if this makes any sense because we are talking about real people and not like animated characters, but as somebody who really tries to pay attention to character design, because I find that stuff really interesting, I know what I'm talking about. I think. And since we are talking about real people, you may be saying, well, doesn't everyone have round eyes? And technically, you'd be correct. However, people do actually have different eye shapes. And I mean, I'm sure you knew that, but the idea of eyes being round or not round, technically all eyes are round in some sort of way, as eyes by nature are round, because the eye itself is a sphere. So at the core of an eye, obviously, yes, it is in fact round, but we're getting off on a tangent because the point is, technically all eyes are round, but Draco has particularly round eyes. And so I tried to represent that in my drawing. But unfortunately, it doesn't come across in my picture that well because his eyes are half closed as he's kind of like looking up at us. But just know, the thought was there. So let me know how well you think I did making my drawing look like the actor. or character. I personally think that the drawing I did of Fred and George looks more like their live action version than this one does, but let me know your opinion. And on the topic of you telling me your opinion, I'd love to know what you think of Draco's character, as well as let me know who your favorite character is, and if you would like to request a character for me to draw. It can be from Harry Potter or from anything else. And since we're on the topic of participating with the channel, I might as well bring up the classic, if you enjoy this video, like and subscribe. I mean, you made it this far in the video after all. Or you can choose not to. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Thank you, you're the best. But you can't always tell me how your day's been. I hope you're doing well. Today my cat brought in a live bird, so that was fun. I set it free. It seemed okay. I'm just glad it wasn't a mouse or something. Beep beep. Randomly, my other cat has emerged. She's like, "You're talking about cats? You must include me." You want to tell the people hi? Yeah? And while I was talking about randomness, you may have noticed that from the line art stage to the coloring stage, I had added a sleeve. So basically, I originally drew him without a sleeve. I mean like the colored shirt kind of sleeve, because I just forgot, I guess. And then I was just gonna leave it because I was like, he could have short sleeves. But then I was like, they like always have long sleeves. Like, then I decided to make a compromise and do like a colored shirt sleeve and not like the like shirt that goes over that sleeve, which is totally movie valid because I've seen him have a vest, but like the collared shirt is long sleeves, so that is my excuse. Even though I don't know why I preferred to draw the collared shirt sleeves over just like whatever that overshirt is called, it is sleeves, because the material of a collared shirt is so weird and I'm not good at drawing it. But I digress. Random side tangent. What is your opinion on snakes? I think they're adorable. Side tangent to my side tangent. What is your opinion on Slytherins? Like, are you one of those people that's like, not Slytherin? Or are you one of those people that wants to be a Slytherin? Because there is no in between. You're either that person that's chanting, not Slytherin, or you're the person who wants to be a Slytherin. I wanted to be a Slytherin, and then I took the test, and I was a Slytherin. It was the happiest day of my life. I always knew I was a Slytherin at heart. Even before I had seen Harry Potter, I was just like, yeah, I'm a Slytherin. And randomly enough, my mom didn't really want to be a Slytherin, but she took the test and she is also a Slytherin, so I guess it runs in the family. And even though I was super shocked at first because I was for sure that she was like Ravenclaw or something, after thinking more about it and reading a few things about Slytherins and Ravenclaws, we were like, maybe you are a Slytherin. Anyways, side tangent over. One thing I did for this picture was I wanted it to look uniform with my last picture of Fred and George. So as you'll see, I did the same type of background type of thing using banners. But one thing I did differently was that I had Draco's banners be symmetrical. In fact, at the end, there's some background that I also add that I also make symmetrical, and the reason for this is because I just felt like it fit his personality, or like the fact that not only does it just seem like rich person or like snooty person to have everything perfect, but also just the fact that he tries to be perfect, basically. Whereas with like the twins, they don't care what other people think. They're just gonna be themselves and have non-symmetrical banners. I also tried writing in a different font, basically. For Draco's, I tried to make his more fancy, I guess you could say, but I really tried not to make it girly, so you can tell me how well I did. And as I did with the twins, I drew things around him that basically like represent him, which I thought was difficult with the twins, but now I'm seeing they ain't got nothing on Draco, and probably quite a few of the other characters too. And by they have nothing, I mean they have way more like objects that represent them than probably anybody else. Possibly. I don't know if I'd say anybody, but they definitely be up there with like characters that have objects that represent them. Like for Draco, I was grasping at straws, my dude. Like the twins, they got everything. They got the Marauders map, they got fireworks, they got those like little candies or whatever that they'd sell, which I didn't even use in the picture that I drew. They had like the beater stick from Quidditch, and of course the Gryffindor symbol, and something else that I can't remember at the moment, so just go watch that video if you haven't seen it. All will be revealed. And that's not just me trying to be like, go watch my other video, I legitimately can't remember what the other thing was. Oh, never mind. It was the vial the potion things that they took to get past the age line. See, I know my favorite characters. Anyways, for Draco, so obviously I did the Slytherin symbol, or a symbol to represent Slytherin. I took a page out of my own book that I learned from the twins, is just doing something that represents their Quidditch position. So I drew the golden snitch, which is the thing that the Seeker tries to catch. Same position as Harry, but I mean, you probably already know that. Also, are we not going to talk about the fact that the only reason Draco was put in that position was to be an adversary to Harry, even though he probably would have been better at a different position? But I digress. I also added the like Death Eater tattoo or whatever it is. I don't know if I drew it accurately. This is like based off of what I was able to find online. But one thing that I did was I didn't just draw it as is. I tried to make it look almost like glitched out in a way to basically represent that it's bad, and also the fact that it's not something that he'd necessarily be proud of, I guess. Like a dark and brooding past or something. I don't know. On a lighter note, I drew a ferret. Because ferrets are adorable and I just really wanted to draw one and I couldn't think of anything else. And Draco totally turns into a ferret at one point. And it turned out so cute. Like at first I was like, man, I cannot draw ferrets. And even though I still kind of stand by that, I can't really draw ferrets, I still think it turned out so cute. And have you seen their eyes? Their eyes are so round. Sorry, we're back on the whole round eye thing, but like, have you seen ferret's eyes? Now that is round. I have no regrets. They're so adorable. The nefarious lanky little creatures. Alright, so now we're finishing up the picture. We're adding the eye shines, starting the background. My idea for the background was to kind of make it look like magical swishes. I don't know. I was just totally winging it. I originally had an idea for something like this type of thing with the twins, but I ended up not going with that. And I feel like what I did for them looks better for them, and what I did here looks better for Draco. Let me know what you think. Thanks! Okay, bye!